Hey gang, Ronin here. Welcome on back to the Retrocade. It's Sunday, and that means it's time for our 9th edition of Suckerpunch Sunday, where we play a fighting or fighting platform-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th generation. If you've been enjoying the content so far, best way to show it is to hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at @Retrocade. If you can, help spread the word, help us hit our goal of 100 subscribers as soon as possible to unlock that pesky customization algorithm here on YouTube. Also, don't miss out on Sports Saturday, where we play a sports-based game from the golden age of 1984 to 2010. We played Super Mario Kart yesterday, in part because it was a game I've been wanting to profile for a while, and say what you will about racing being a sport. I contend that it is, and it's my channel. If you don't like it, well, too bad. And if there's a game you would like to see us feature here on the channel from the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive, SNK Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a tweet. To be any game you want, again, from those 7 consoles. And we are all about promoting the history of gaming on this channel, and anything goes. So, why are we playing Bushido Blade? Well, Bushido Blade is one of my favorite fighting games from the PS1. It came out in 1997, just a little while after Final Fantasy VII came out. Bushido Blade was developed by Squaresoft before they merged with Enix, because became Square Enix. And it was a game that for a lot of people flew under the radar. But the reason why I like it is it's one of the most original fighting games I have played still to this day. I will say it has not aged well, at least as far as the graphics go, and you will see that as we play over the course of the next half an hour or so. But the reason why I like it is because, unlike every other fighting game I've ever played, and I've played a lot of them in my time, while you only have 6 characters, each one has their own skills and abilities, and you get to choose a variety of weapons. But there is no health meter, there is no countdown, there's nothing of the sort. You play until somebody drops, and if somebody could drop with 1 hit, somebody could drop with multiple hits. You never know. So I'm going to take Kanuki, and I'm going to pick... So you get the longsword, saber, broadsword, katana, rapier, naginata, sledgehammer, if you want to be truly brutal, or the nodachi, which is essentially a super long katana. And I think I'm going to go with... I'm just going to take the longsword. Or no, I'll take the broadsword. Now, this game is set in feudal Japan, and it's around a 500-year-old dojo. And the key to this game is, because there is no health gauge, there is no countdown, there's no timer, and you can kill somebody instantly, truly instantly. You have to honor the code of Bushido, which is, if you know your Japanese history at all, you have to fight as an honorable warrior, which means there are certain things you cannot do to your opponent. Namely, you have to make sure that you don't kill them when their back is turned. You cannot hit them when they've been blinded. And you cannot attack them while they bow to start a fight. If you act dishonorably, the game is over and you can continue. Now, fortunately, you get unlimited continues in this game. And each weapon allows you to have a different sort of attack. Now, if you utilize the... Let me pause this really quick. So how you move is pretty straightforward. You move around using the D-pad. Remember, this is a PS1 game, so they didn't have the analog sticks available yet. They could once the DualShock came out, but in this game, using the DualShock was never really an option. It would usually glitch out for some bizarre reason. I'm not sure why, but in my experience, it just didn't work. You can go for heavy strikes, you can go for light strikes, and if you can strike somebody and wound them, So if you hit them in the leg, they can end up having to move on one leg. If you hit them in the arm, they can only use one arm. And again, you can wound somebody as many times as they can take before they ultimately drop. Or if you're lucky, you can hit them with one shot and that's it. A fight can go 5 seconds. It can go 5 minutes. You never know. The square button allows you to parry. And then that's it. If you double tap in a certain way, that helps you run. But that is... Ooh, and just like that, I've already been... Ow. So there's my swing. And just like that, she is gone. Like I said, I got one big hit in, went right over the top, and cleft her in twain. Now, the story in this is that your family has been slaughtered, and you have to go through all the opponents in the game to get to the end of it. And your opponents will have different... They'll have different weapons as well. And 2 swings, and down he goes. As you can see, that patch over my eye, I got that as a result of what happened in the previous fight. So I am now missing an eye. And you don't heal, obviously, between fights. So... And it can be pretty quick to get through this, but again, if you kill somebody dishonorably, and this game is pretty fickle about it, then you have to start the fight over. Or it's game over. Now, if you are killed, you can fight your opponent again. You get unlimited continues. Oh, and he just took me apart with one shot. Now, I used to play this game with my younger sister because, again, it was one that we always liked to play fighting games. And... Goodbye. And the thing we always enjoyed about it was because you never knew when the fight was going to end. But we had a couple that just, to this day, that I think about them and they still make me laugh. Because the one that sticks out in my mind the most, and this is right here, is where I usually get to the point where I either lose the game or I somehow manage to move on, even though I think I fight honorably. But we did have a fight between the two of us, my sister and I, where she sat there and wounded me 6 different times. And I... Oh, uppercut. There goes my chin. Like, she had wounded my arm, she wounded my leg, and she kept hitting me and kept wounding me, and I wouldn't go down. And she was getting slightly more flustered each time, and then at the very, very end, I managed to lunge. I hit her with one shot, and that took her out. And to this day, it's still... It gets brought up every once in a while. Ooh, it just took my arm. So I'm fighting one-armed here. Okay, she's trying to lunge at me. Oh, and I got her. Now, will they rule that an honorable death? I was facing her when I did it. She didn't ever back to me. Yes, it let me through. So for the first time in I don't know how long, I'm able to move on to the next fight. Wait a minute, did I just kill myself? Oh no, he took a gun out and shot me. I forgot he did that. That bastard. What? You forget that this was I totally spaced the fact that this guy does this. Instead, I will trip you up, and while you are down, I will just take you apart. Now, if this isn't being a dishonorable death, I will be very unhappy. I don't think in that fight there's any way to dishonorably kill him. Now, I believe this is the last guy. I freely admit, it has been a long time since I played this game. Oh. Oh, and I got him! See, pick at you, pick at you, pick at you, but you get one good shot in, and that's it. I wonder if that's it. Thanks for the practice. Now, there are obviously different arenas you can fight in on this island. Oh! I've been skewered. Right up through the throat. Okay, you keep running away from me. Now you only kind of can act in 2 or 3 shots at a time. But if you can get good at the parry button, which is the square button, oh, I got tripped. Oh, I just took out my eye again. Okay, now we're down a hand. Oh, I got her. She had me down a leg, I had her down an arm, and I still defeated her. What a waste. Now this game, when it came out, ended up being in Japan, was the 25th best-selling game in 1997. And when the list came out of the best PlayStation games of all time, ow, Bushido Blade made the list, but he was usually somewhere down in like the 80s to 90s. I mean, it's a fairly simple game when you look at it, obviously. Ow. he's not taking me out, I don't know. Come here. Oh, got him with a slash across the chest. But when they reviewed it, GamePro said that the key to this, the reason why it was a well-received game was because you couldn't just come in swinging and take your guy out as fast as possible. There was a methodology to being able to win. So this is the guy that ordered Black Lotus to massacre Kenichi's family, and of course he dies without being told the answer. But when OneUp.com did their list of the greatest 200 video games of all time, Bushido Blade was ranked number 190. And in 2010, another publication, Games Radar, said Bushido Blade was on the list of 90 games that needed to be updated and remade. I would agree with that, although considering what Square Enix has gone on to do and how games like this and Saga Frontier and Einhander, which were these little one-shot titles that they did back in the day, it just, I don't think they'll ever really get the publicity that they would deserve now. So really, in effect, that's the whole game. It's not a hard game to play. Obviously, we've only been playing it for 17 minutes. 15 if you consider the amount of time I took to explain it to you. So it's a fast game that you can play and have a lot of fun with. The real fun in it, I think, is playing it two-player. Playing it one-on-one with somebody. Because unlike playing Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat or King of Fighters or any of the big-time fighting games that people know nowadays, because this game can be so random and fights can be done so quick, it does make you conscious of how you're going about it. And even in the two-player games, if you don't adhere to the Bushido code, you don't exactly win the fight. You know, for what they were able to do 25 years ago now, with a game that's not very... It's not very stretched out. There's not a whole lot to it, like you saw. There's a couple of different levels. You've got a couple of basic attacks. There's no fireballs. There's no special things that can end a fight. It's just you with a blade in your hand, an opponent in front of you, and whoever gets the swing off first and connects it at the right time, they win. So, by modern standards, it's a game that a lot of people may look at and be like, well, what's the point? It's so rudimentary that it might not even be worth the time. And they did do a sequel of this game, and it wasn't as well received as the original. That's not to say it wasn't a bad game. It's just that when Bushido Blade 2 came out in 1998, they added a bit more to it. They added more characters to it for sure. And it was considered the top-selling PlayStation game upon release, but it didn't seem to be as overall as popular as the original. And I think by that point, with the way the direction Square was going, again leading towards their inevitable merger with Square Enix, it just didn't end up being a franchise that was all that sustainable. But there are different modes. There's training modes, POV, Link mode. They even have the original movie that explains the whole story about this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try Slash mode. I don't remember Slash mode. I'm going to try a different character. I'm going to try Tatsumi. And I will give him... So he automatically gets the katana. But while Squaresoft released this game, it was actually developed by a team at Lightweight. So it looks like this is all dependent on the number of kills you can get. Okay, he's gone. For those of you keeping score at home. Kill! That's 2 down. Ow. Ow. Quit. Oh, and I have been destroyed. Everything I was swinging was coming up short. Alright, try it again. So this starts over from 0 kills. Now the R1 and R2 button change the position of your hands for the attack. So I'm taking his arm out. So now I can bring the blade down. Now that one may not stand. Or I know they're gonna let it go. Nice uppercut swing there. Oh, and I lunged in and I get smited. So that's slash mode. Let me see what else is here. Try POV mode. Now, if I remember right, POV mode, you're actually looking at your opponent as you are fighting them. I'll try Black Lotus this time. Give him the saber. I'll give him the long sword. And we'll choose... I always like the Cherry Blossom Grove. And it is. See, you're going straight at him. Trip him up. Oh, I have been cacked. And you get the external replay comes in and excuse me, I'm gonna need a new skull. Let me try this again. But see, the idea that you would put something like this in a fighting game and have a first-person viewpoint, been turned into a pen cushion. Step in. Oh God, my kidney. And down you go. It does make the game a lot more challenging because you have to have the spatial awareness to know where your opponent is. And then be able to parry at the right time. And I have been whacked again. And for not having played this game in over 20 years, you know, I understand how this would make people frustrated. That you would look at this game and go, what were they thinking? And it's probably because I've played so many variations of fighting games over the years, and I'm so used to... There we go. Oh, that didn't help. Kill! Change stance. Great way to fight. Arms down, face presented. Bam! And that is it. So we've been playing for about 25 minutes, and I think that's good enough. But that, guys and gals, in a nutshell, is Bushido Blade. If you've enjoyed that, by all means, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, ring the bell to be notified of the latest content. Also, don't forget about Sports Saturday, where we play a sports-based game from the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th generation. We played Super Mario Kart last weekend. We are carrying on with our Final Fantasy VI playthrough starting tomorrow, and we have roughly 3 dungeons left to go, and then that game will be finished. I am hoping, really hoping, that I can get it done this week. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of a rest from doing a long playthrough, because this thing was truly an epic game considering what it was. No, I'm just going to let this go. But I've already got my next title picked out. But like I said, I'm going to take a little bit of a breather and see what else. I don't know how long it's going to take to film while I'm doing this. You can also follow us on Twitter at our Retrocade. Help spread the word. Help us hit our goal of 100 subscribers as soon as possible so we can open up the YouTube customization algorithm. If there's any game you'd like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Sega Genesis, /Mega Drive, SNK Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a tweet. As always, my name is Ronin. Been great spending this Sunday with you. Be safe, be well, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.